And live.
Welcome to House Education on Thursday, May 29th, 2025. The committee has gathered to hear a proposed amendment to H 480 by Representative McCann, Representative Wozniak. I think without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Representative McCann to walk us through the proposed amendment and why.
For the record, Rep. McCann from Montpelier, and Teddy would be here if you could. Basically, what this amendment does is it would amend the part of the cell phone bill. It would amend the cell phone bill by striking out all language around personal electronic devices. And the reason for that is because all of the testimony that we took from the field said that suggested that we were going to have better results if we were to keep things simple. And when you add in all the personal electronic devices, it's not keeping things simple. We also heard from the AOE about not disrupting effective existing practices or placing unnecessary strain on staff and students. This will most assuredly put extra strain on staff and administration because not only are they going to be policing cell phones, which has been really great in the schools where we heard a lot of good testimony from kids and also from parents and school personnel that less cell phones in schools is meaning good outcomes for kids. And that's really what we're all about here. But when we conflate that situation with the personal electronic devices, I do think that it's legislative overreach and that we are just asking for a failed system as this goes into place. As someone from the field, I am not going to police whether or not a kid has a Fitbit on. And I don't think administrators are for the most part either. And so I think if we want to be successful, we should keep it simple and keep it simple with the cell phones.
Thank you. I don't have,
And the language here.
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't have a side by side of yours compared to ours. I'm sort of trusting in a way that the strike all retains everything else but the personal electronic devices.
It does, including all of the carve outs and the new one for McKinney-Vento. And yeah, everything is the same except for where it said cell phones and personal electronic devices. It now just says cell phones.
Under model policy shall provide, it's just striking that phrase, personal electronic device. The exception, though, everything else.
Everything else stays the same. All the social media stuff, everything else stays the same.
Two references though to personal, so both instances are struck.
Yes.
Into 17, 18.
Yes.
It's a different, the section numbers are different. Yeah. The Senate amendments onto the miscellaneous ed. So I'm trying to go out because I'm preparing for the park. So I'm trying to go off the
Right.
forward.
Right. All right. Well, you sort of try to sort that out. It may be
Yeah.
worthwhile to pull up as passed by the Senate. Other questions from committee members? Oops, I just lost it. Yeah. I'm not seeing any other questions. So then I will,
I guess I can ask.
yes.
So procedurally, if we make this change, or if the amendment passes, what happens?
All right, so we are to straw poll the amendment.
Okay.
It's the floor that would have to adopt the amendment. If the bill is amended, it then has to return to the Senate to be dealt with there. They would either vote to concur, call for a conference committee, or send it back to us with further instance of amendment. So the elephant in the room being a timing issue, if we want to think about Friday as being our last day. Yes, Representative Harple.
two things, I guess. The first is that I'm wondering what your thoughts are about how this is different than, say, like vapes, which are also illegal to have in classrooms, but we don't ask teachers to police them. It's just that if you see them, then there's a consequence. And then two, I guess this is more of a question for what you just said, and like considering how late we want to stay here. Like, should we be considering that over whether or not we're producing a good bill?
I would say that I only bring up the timing because it is unlikely that if the House floor amends this bill, that this bill in its entirety would survive just the last day timing.
Okay, so what you're saying is, that's helpful. The only way we're actually going to pass the bell-to-bell policy is if we don't send it back with an amendment.
If we vote to concur.
If we vote to concur.
If we vote to concur.
Which would mean voting down this amendment.
Correct.
Okay.
And I guess I would, I think I would just offer that I appreciate the concern with this, that the part that deals with personal electronic devices is the AOE developing a model policy in coordination with all these other groups. And I think that if all of that discussion that takes place outside of the legislature yields a strong concern about exactly what Representative McCann's concerns are, we can modify next year, come back to us and say, this electronic devices thing is really hard. And they could ask us to amend the bill as well, or the law at that point, if all of that transpires. Any final words from you? Right. Thank you very much.
Can I answer that question?
Sure.
Yes.
How is it different? How is it different than not asking teachers to police vapes, which we know can't be in the classroom, but we just like, if we see them, we respond, but we're not really policing for that.
I would say that it depends what school you're at, but administrators are doing the lion's share of that work. And we at U32 have sensors in certain areas of the school where students would be doing the vaping. And so we have cameras and sensors, and we are tracking those kids.
Okay.
You do not need to return to your seat for the straw poll. You will stay right there.
Going to be in your actual seat to vote.
All right, so we'll just straw poll it. All of those in favor of the amendment, please raise your hand. All of those opposed to the amendment, please raise your hand. And that would be a 0-10 vote.
Shirley King.
I'm sorry, a 1. Yeah. I simply shouldn't have done it in reverse. Anyway, it's a 10-1-0 vote to find the amendment unfavorable.
And
That would wrap this committee's work. Please keep an eye on information about us gathering. Could be as early as 8:45 tomorrow to do our final work on